Sudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā. Bhagavati uttamashloke bhaktir bhavati nishtaki. Aradhayo bhagavan vrajeshatanayas tadhama vrindavanam. Ramya kachitupasana vrajavadhu vargena va kalpitam. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam pramanamamalam prema pumartho maham. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu matamidam tatradhara para. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Canto 10 of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is like the lotus face of the Supreme Lord. And yesterday we completed chapter number 20, the autumn and the rainy season in Vrindavan, and discuss wonderful analogies and life lessons, and in the life of a sadhaka, a devotee, what can we learn from the nature, the environment, the trees, the water, the clouds, etc. Now we'll move on to the next chapter, which is entitled The Gopis Glorify the Song of Krishna's Flute. The Gopis glorify the song of Krishna's flute. Also, this chapter is also called as Venu Gita. Venu Gita. Venu is basically one. In English, there is only one word, flute, but in Sanskrit, there are multiple words for flute, like Venu, Murli, Vamsi, etc. But here, also, this chapter is called Venu Gita. There are 20 verses in this chapter. So relatively small chapter compared to the 49 verses in the last chapter, but very, very wonderful, sweet, and amazing pastimes of Lord Krishna. So with that, without any further delay, let's begin our journey into this wonderful chapter by summary of the chapter. So maybe someone can read the summary. Those who didn't get chance yesterday would like to read. Anyone who didn't get chance?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Rob.
Hare Krishna devotees, Nityaṁ, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. The chapter describes how Lord Krishna entered the enchanting forest of Vrindavana upon the arrival of autumn, and the praises of young cowherd girls sang when they heard the Vrindavana of his flute. As Lord Krishna, Lord Balarama, and their cowherd friends entered the forest to graze the cows, Krishna began playing his flute. The gopis heard the enchanting flute song and understood that Krishna was entering the forest. Then they narrated to each other the Lord's various activities. The gopis declared to see Lord Krishna playing his flute while taking the cows to pasture is the highest perfection for the eyes. What pious activities has the flute performed that enable him to freely drink the nectar of Sri Krishna's lips? A blessing we cowherd girls find difficult to achieve. Hearing the song of Krishna's flute, the peacocks dance, and all the other creatures become stunned when they see them. Demigoddesses traveling through the sky in their airplane are vexed by Cupid, and their garments become loose. The ears of the cows stand on the end as they drink the nectar of the flute song, and their calves simply stand stunned. The milk they have been drinking from their mothers utters still in their mouths. The birds take shelter of the branches of the trees and close their eyes, listening to the song of Krishna's flute with rapt attention. The flowing rivers become perpetuated by conjugal attraction for Krishna, and stopping their flow, embrace Krishna's lotus feet with the arms of their waves, while the clouds serve as parcels of shade Krishna's head from hot sun. The aboriginal woman of the Sabara race, seeing the grass stained by red kumkuma, adorning the Lord's lotus feet, smear the vermilion powder upon their breast and face to elevate the distress created by Cupid. Govardhana Hill offers grass to various kinds of fruits and bulbous roots in worship of Lord Sri Krishna. All the non-moving living beings take the characteristics of moving creatures, and the moving living beings became stationary. These things are very wonderful, all very wonderful. Very wonderful chapter, as you mentioned. We can see that, they're saying that all the moving creatures become stationary, and the stationary creatures, become movable. So the peacocks, dancing, and the gopis are very jealous of the flute because it is drinking the lotus from the mouth of Lord Krishna. So wonderful description, Prabhuji, about the clouds covering the sun to give shade to Lord Krishna. So wonderful description, Prabhuji. Please add. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, thank you for reading this wonderful summary of this chapter. So, until the previous few chapters, Krishna is more doing pastimes with his friends, right? Playing with ball, playing different, going to Kalia, going to Agasur, Bakasur, so many childhood pastimes, right? Stealing butter, Damodar Leela, Pralambasur, all these pastimes we have read in the previous 20 chapters. Now, and also the Vatsalya, also Leela, we have read multiple times in the previous chapters, like Damodar Leela, stealing of butter. But from this chapter, there's a little bit transition from the rasa of friendship, which is Sakhya, the rasa of Vatsalya, which is parental, to the rasa of Madhurya. So, which is a very high topic, and I'm a very foreign person. But great devotees, sincere Vaishnavas like His Grace Amrinda Prabhu. You see, there is almost a 60-day katha. I've not heard that, but at least it is there. Almost 60 days he spoke on this particular chapter, and each day is about 1 hour plus. Only on this chapter, Canto 10, chapter 21. So if any one of you want to hear, that is freely available on YouTube. You are more than welcome to hear. He's a wonderful, great soul, as we all know. So you're more than welcome to hear that. If you, there are also 1 or 2 summary lectures which I was trying to hear. I will share that with all of you in the group. You are more than welcome to hear those as well. But nonetheless, we will read, and it is said that sky is unlimited. It's like an open canvas, and different birds fly in different capacities. Different birds fly in different capacities. Some can only fly up to like 10 feet. They can't fly more than that. That's fine. Some can fly 100 feet. Some can fly 100 miles and up, and for hundreds of miles. But still, no one can say, I have covered everything. Can any bird say, I have covered the length and the breadth of the sky, and sky is too little for me? So that sky is basically glorification of Krishna, right? It's unlimited. And different devotees are like different birds. A neophyte devotee can also glorify Krishna and his activities and pastimes. And a pure soul can also glorify Krishna and his activities. Of course, the capacity, the extent, the depth, the purity, of course, a pure soul will have much more in both quantity and quality. But nonetheless, I feel as a neophyte soul, just by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, we can also relish these pastimes, relish these, and hear and read. To our limited capacity, we can also try to understand. So with that mood and that as the background, let's begin into this beautiful chapter. Text number 1, Canto 10, chapter 21. Shri Shuka Uvacha Itaham Sharat Swachhajalam Padmakara Sugandhina Nyavisad Vayuna Vatam Sago Gopalako Chutaha. Translation: the disciples of His Divine Grace, Abhicharana Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shukdev Goswami said, the Vrindavan forest was filled with transparent autumnal waters and cooled by breezes, perfumed with fragrances of lotus flowers growing in the clear lakes. The infallible Lord, accompanied by his cows and cowherd boyfriends, entered that forest. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So, in this verse, we see basically Krishna is entering. Krishna is entering. The environment is very, very appropriate. The environment is very, very appropriate. What are the few aspects of the environment? Cool breezes, as mentioned, and nice fragrant flowers, lotus flowers. So the lotus flowers blossom especially in this Sharad Ritu or autumn season in clear lakes. So the water has settled. In the rainy season, the water is a little muddy, as we have read in the previous chapter. But now the water is clear because the mud has sediment down. And Krishna is never alone. Who is accompanying him? Gopalakaha. the cowherd boys. Go Gopalakaha, the cows and the cowherd boys. Go means the cows, and Gopalam Kaha means the cowherd boys. So Lord Achyuta, Shukadeva Goswami is speaking that Lord Achyuta, in this Sharat Ritu, in the fall season, the autumn has passed, right? The autumn is kind of transitioning. The fall season is coming. Swachha Jala, the water is very pure, it's clear. Padma Akara. So Padma means lotus. Su Gandhina, with very sweet fragrance flowers. So a few things to note. The water is very clear. The lotus flowers are adding to the beauty of the environment. Their fragrance is very nice. So everything, in short, is set. The Vrindavan forest is set. The environment is appropriate. The flowers, the breeze, the cool breeze, which is not too hot, not very chilly, is just the appropriate time of Sharad. So in that time, as mentioned here, Krishna enters the Vrindavan forest. Let's see what happens further. Text 2. Would someone like to read this?
I can read.
Okay.
Okay. How is it? What is Dhamma Pranam? All goes to Śrīmad Prabhupada. Text 2. Kushumito Bonaraji Shushmi Bingo Dijakulo Gusto Sharo Shorin Mohidham Madhuputar Abhoghayo Charano Ga Shaha Pashu Palo Balas Chukuja Benum. Translation purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada and his disciples ki joy. Translation: the lakes, rivers and hills of Vrindavan resounded with the sounds of the maiden bees and flocks of birds moving about the flowering trees. In the company of the cowherd boys and Balaram, Madhupati, Sri Krishna entered that forest, and while herding the cows, he began to vibrate his flute. Purport: as suggested by the word Chukujo Benung, Lord Krishna skillfully blended the sound of his flute with the lovely sounds of the Vrindavan's multicolored birds. Thus an irresistible heavenly vibration was created. So you see the beautiful descriptions of that atmosphere that was created by the Lord and the surrounding environment. So here the Lord is called Madhupati, and he, along with his cowherd boys and Balaram, entering the autumn season, and while he's herding their cows, surrounded by all the natural beauties and bees, birds, and when Krishna is actually making a combinations of his flute with the natural sounds, and this is called Kukunjo Venum. Venum means the flute, and the Kukujo the sounds of the birds, and it made a beautiful vibration in that nice environment, and which is heavenly vibration actually is mentioned in the purport. Back to Oji. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Lord Krishna is the most skillful when it comes to anything, because everything comes from him. And as he is entering the Vrindavan forest, Madhupati, the word used is Madhupati. While herding the cows, the cows are with him, the cowherd boys are with him, Gopalaka, Balramji is also there. and then he's playing the flute. So this whole environment is so divine. Just meditating upon this, how Krishna, how Balramji, how his friend. There are a lot of wonderful paintings also in this, depicting this scene, how Krishna enters the forest. Krishna and his friends entering the forest. There's a lot of beautiful paintings where they're playing. It's a very beautiful, just to meditate, just to think on this. Just by reading, we can kind of have that mental picture. That's the excellence of Shukdev Goswami. That attention to detail is a symptom of love. So everything, it is not just saying, okay, Krishna goes to forest and he's playing. Attention to detail, describing how this is getting blended, how the bees are getting maddened. Why they are maddened? Because of seeing that they're the Lord, their master, their Madhupati is coming. The bees are also called Madhu. Bees are also called Madhu. But when they see Madhupati, the Lord of all the Madhus, and that's one meaning, that their master is coming. Then the rocks, the rivers, the mountains, the birds, Dvija, the word used is Bringa, the bees, all are maddened. As mentioned in the previous summary, the non-moving start to move, and the moving are stunned and kind of shocked and surprised and spellbound. This we see that even in the multiple instances. You may have heard the story that the stone melted, where at Bharat Mela place, and there are multiple places which it happens. In Bharat Mela, when Ram and Bharat met in Chitrakoot, the stone melted because of the love. The famous story where Hanuman one time took the Narad Muni's Veena. At that time also the stone melted. That famous story. So the multiple exchanges, the stone melt. The point is because of the sweetness. Even a hard stone can melt, start to flow. And we will see this will come later also, that the ones who are moving, they are kind of paused because of this transcendental vibration. So Krishna's flute, that's Venu Gita. Any other thoughts anyone has in this verse? Okay, let's read. Yes, Puna, Mataji, please, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Text 3. Tad vajrastriya ashrutya Venu Geetam samarodayam kaschit paro kasam krishnasya sakvivyo anvarnayan. Translation. Jai Srila Prabhupada. When the young ladies in the cowherd village of Bajra heard the song of Krishna's flute, which arouses the influence of Cupid, some of them privately began describing Krishna's qualities to their inmate friends. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, back to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading this nice verse and your association in this Bhagavatam reading. So when the gopis in Vrindavan, after hearing Krishna's transcendental flute or Venu Gita, Gita also means song. There is Bhagavad-Gita, there is Venu Gita, there is Rudra Gita, Aila Gita, etc. But Venu Gita is very, very, you can say, it's in the 10th canto. So it's certainly very, very precious. So by hearing Krishna's flute, they are remembering him. Him means Krishna. As we discussed, when we hear or when we see something connected to our beloved, connected to someone who's dear to us, we naturally are remember that person, right? For example, let's say your child, you have a video of your child, or you have an audio of your child, but your child is now maybe studying somewhere 1,000 miles away. As soon as you hear that audio, which was recorded maybe in the past, certainly the memories of the child would come. Is that right? The memories would, if you see a pen, let's say your child used to use this pen, and the child is maybe now studying somewhere in a different country or different continent, naturally just by seeing that, the memories would come. So therefore, we should try our best to connect as much as possible with Krishna, so that even while we are not directly in touch with Krishna, by somehow or the other we are reminded of Krishna. Like for example, when I, just a very small example, whenever I kind of see that, what that swing called, like where you go up and then come down, what is slide? What do you call it?
Merry-go-round.
Huh?
Merry-go-round.
Merry-go-round.
I said seesaw, Prabhuji.
No, seesaw is a little different. Not the seesaw.
Roller coaster, slide.
No, very simple. The roller
Slide.
coaster is.
Slide.
It's a slide, yeah. It's the basic simple slide, right? So I'll draw it. Then you'll all know what I'm talking about, because I'm not maybe expressing properly, but when I draw it, I think you all will. So it's a basic simple slide where the kids there's ladder, right? You take steps, 5-10 steps, simple, and then you sit on this and come down, right? This is the ground level. Simple slide, right? So it could be something as simple as a basic slide, but whenever I see it, just reminds me of the slide we had in Vrindavan and Kamya one called Fislan Pahari. Did you all see that? I shared the videos. So in short, when we go to Holy Dham, when we hear Krishna Katha, the more we hear, the more we will have remembrance, right? The more we seek things in connection to Krishna, the more we will be able to remember things when we are not in direct connection with Krishna. Here, the gopis, see, sound, Prabhupada emphasizes so much on the sound. Here, they're just hearing that sound. They are hearing that sound. Krishna is probably quite far. He is entering the forest, right? What is he doing? He's entering the forest, and gopis are not there. He is with Go and Gopal, Go and Gopakaha. He's not with the cowherd girls. He's with the cows, the calves, and the cowherd boys, as we just read. And what the gopis are doing, they are hearing the transcendental flute of the Lord. And by hearing that, they are remembering his beautiful form. How nicely Krishna was playing this flute. And then they are describing the vibration. And also reminded of the sweet pastimes with him. Thus their minds became disturbed, and they're unable to describe completely the beautiful vibration. I'm reading a little bit from Krishna book also, because Prabhupada did give that Krishna book before he did the 10th canto, which he partially did the translations in purport, but Krishna book was printed before that. So I'm reading a little bit from there as well. So in short, they are the power of hearing also we can see here. And it arises transcendental loving feelings. And what happens? Then they start to discuss Krishna Katha, Machita Madgata Prana, Bodhayanta Parasparam. That's what they are doing. They are discussing Paroksham Krishnasya Swasakhibi with their intimate companions. Now, different Katha has to discuss with different people, right? We don't discuss every topic with everyone, correct? So these are intimate pastimes. They're discussing with intimate people who can appreciate those, right? So we have to also be mindful of what to discuss, with whom to discuss, right? So let's see what happens further. Text number 4. Anyone?
Yeah, I can read.
Yeah, please.
Hare Krishna devotees. Text 4. Tad varnayutum arabdaha smaryantaha Krishna chesitam naskan smara vegana vikspita manaso narpa. Translation by the disciple of Śrī Prabhupada. Jai to Śrī Prabhupada and the disciples. The cowherd girls began to speak about Krishna, but when they remembered his activities, O king, the power of Cupid disturbed their minds, and thus they could not speak. Hare Krishna. I think you already summarized this kind of the previous, that they were so entranced with the sound of the flute that their minds became disturbed because Cupid had an effect on them, and they were so, you can say, they were love struck, and so then they could not. They were just remembering all the pastimes with Krishna, and they couldn't describe it. Minds were disturbed. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Now, these Vrajangana, the word used here is Vrajangana. In the previous verse also, which was used, Vrajangana. These gopis, Vrajastriya, these young ladies of Vrindavan, Vraja. Someone can ask a question. How can Cupid disturb their minds? There's a lecture. Few devotees are given this class. Cupid makes one stupid, right? Cupid makes one stupid, right? This happens in the material world all the time, right? The whole world is running under the show of Cupid, right? Attracted by the false illusory pleasures of opposite sex. But these gopis of Vrindavan are not ordinary material creatures, not ordinary girls or ordinary people. They are pure devotees. They are Mahatmas. Mahatmanas tu mam partha devim prakritim ashritaha. So they are not affected by any Cupid. It is only pure, unalloyed, selfless, unconditional, topmost love for Krishna. Amongst all the rasas, the highest of the all rasas. So it is not some material attraction of an ordinary boy to an ordinary girl, right? Even a he frog attracted to she frog, a he lion attracted to she lion, a she deer attracted to he deers. That's in all the species, nothing special in there. But this is, all that is lust in the material creature. But this is unalloyed, pure, selfless, topmost, unconditional, pure love. So you have to always understand in that aspect. You have to always keep that in mind. And therefore, it is not suggested that one suddenly starts to read 10th canto from in the middle of nowhere. Okay, let me just read that. Many people jump to that, and it is not recommended. Therefore, we are going systematically by under the guidance of Guru Sadhu Shastra, going step by step, and trying to, of course, Prabhupada's purports, Prabhupada's commentaries, Prabhupada's instructions, other senior Vaishnavas classes, we continuously continue to refer so that we can always understand these aspects of Krishna Leela in the right spirits. If one hears these in the right spirit, their lust will go away. If one considers these as ordinary boy and girl affair, their lust will increase. Very important point, which I heard in one of the class. So we should never consider, oh, Krishna stole the garments of the gopis. Oh, Krishna married 16,000 queens. So it's not some ordinary boy and girl stuff. This is pure, unalloyed, topmost. And one should never try to imitate all that. Rather, one should just read, hear, and relish and appreciate that, oh, Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam. He's the Lord of everyone. Everyone means all the ladies and all the people of the world. Right? Prabhupada named the deities in London as Radha, London Ishvara. Prabhupada named the deities in Paris as Radha, Paris Ishvara. Right? Interesting name, right? Anyone knows why? Any thoughts? Anyone? You heard this before?
Know the deity's name, but not sure why.
So someone shared this. The ladies in London and Paris are perhaps quite beautiful. Their complexion, their bodily aspects and stuff like that. So, and young men are often attracted by the power of lust and think that, oh, they are the master, they are the Ishvara. But Prabhupada said, I'm installing Radha London Ishvara, Radha Paris Ishvara, so that you all know that you are not the Lord and Master of these girls. Even if it is your own wife, you are not the Lord and the Master. You are both husband and wife are supposed to serve Radha London Ishvara. You are the servants of Radha London Ishvara. He is Radha London. He is the Ishvara of the whole London. So everything in London belongs to him. That includes the London's girls also. Of course, boys also, everything. Because he is London Ishvara. I mean, he is supreme, the Jagannath, he is the master of the whole world. But in particular, Prabhupada did that to just remind us again and again that we are not the Lord and the Master. We should not try to become the Lord and the Master. We should always try to be the humble servant. And we should always try to understand these pastimes in that mood. That you're not talking about some ordinary Hollywood movie, Bollywood movie, or some romantic novel or anything like that. We're talking about a much, much higher. Shukdev Goswami, the Paramhamsa, Prahlad, Parikshit Maharaj has given up everything. Shukdev Goswami was at such a high level that he did not distinguish between boy and girl, because he was seeing the Supreme Lord in everyone's heart. They are above all these topics. Narada Muni, the great renunciate, Vyasadev, the great, why will they, they don't, like, great souls don't talk about ordinary boy-girl story. right? Harry Potter or Cinderella, all that. I don't know other names, right? They don't talk about ordinary boy, girl, Hollywood, Bollywood movie. I mean, every Hollywood, Bollywood movie is pretty much filled with this, some kind of romantic affair, right? Practically. But this is, why are they interested to talk about this? This is not ordinary so-called, boy-girl story. This is pure, unalloyed, selfless, topmost, Param Krishna Prem. Any other thoughts? Let's read this beautiful verse. We'll spend little time here. This is a verse, if you like to remember verses, this is something to remember. I'll also try to remember. I don't know. I'll also try to memorize. This is something, one of the nectar verses. So let's see who would like to read this nectar verse. I mean, everything is nectar, but some are more special nectars. This is one of those.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I will attempt to read this.
Sure, please.
Barhapidam natavara vapul karnayo kani karam dibhradvasa kanaka kapisam varijayantim chamalam rantran venor adhara sudhaya purayan gopa Vrindaranyam swapada Ramanam pravishad Gita kirtihi. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai and Disciples Ki Jai. Wearing a peacock feather ornament upon his head, blue karnikara flowers on his ears, a yellow garment as brilliant as gold, and the Vaijayanti garland, Lord Krishna exhibited his transcendental form as the greatest of dancers as he entered the forest of Vrindavana, beautifying it with the marks of his footprints. He filled the holes of his flute with the nectar of his lips, and the cowherd boys sang his glories. The gopis remembered all the transcendental qualities of Krishna mentioned in this verse. Krishna's artful way of dressing and the beautiful blue flowers placed over his ears excited the gopis' romantic desires. And as he poured the nectar of his lips into his flute, they simply lost themselves in ecstatic love for him. Everything about this verse is perfect. Please add Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Krishna. Thank you. Thank you so much, Guruji, for reading this verse. So we will try to go into this verse and meditate upon this beautiful, this verse explains so many beautiful aspects of Krishna's transcendental beauty. He's all beautiful, but gopis continue to describe the beautiful aspects of Krishna's beauty. And I'll share a beautiful picture also, so that we can be reminded of Krishna's transcendental beauty in this verse, which the verses we have covered so far, this picture kind of, you can say, puts all those into a picture form. let's go into the verse. Varaha, or maybe I'll read like go side by side. It might be even better. Varaha pīdam natavara vapu karnayo karnikaram bibrat vasa kanaka kapisham vaijayanti chamalam randhran venur adhara sudaya apuryan gopavrinde vrindavanyam swapada ramanam pravishad Gita kirti. Baraha refers to here peacock. Baraha pidam, his head is decorated with the peacock feathers or flower, peacock feathers. Varha pidam. Nat vara, nata means dance. Natavara, the best of the dancer, Nataka or Nataraj, right? That's the best of the dancers. Vapu, Karnayo Karnikaram. Karna, see the beautiful poetic. Karna Karnikara. So he's using a beautiful blue lotus-like flower. It's not exactly lotus, but it is a blue lotus-like flower Krishna puts around on his ear, on this Karna. So we can, so see, first we are meditating upon his head. What is he putting? Varha Pidam. Then he's the best of the dancers. So every step he's taking is like a dance. Then we're meditating upon Krishna's ear. So when we see this, when we can memorize this verse, when we see the deities, or even when we don't see the deities, we can just meditate upon this verse. It is meditating upon the beautiful aspects of Krishna's body. So Karnayo Karnikaram, he is using a beautiful Karnikara flower to decorate his ear. But actually, it's the other way around. The flower gets more beautiful to be on Krishna's ear. That's how Krishna is. The peacock feather gets more beautified to be on Krishna's head. Varaha Pidam. Bibrat Vasa. Vasa means garment. How are his garment? Kanaka Kapisham. Kanaka means gold. So yellowish, golden garments, as brilliant as gold, yellow garments. As we see here in this picture, Krishna is also called Pitambara. Pitam Ambara Yasyasa. That means who wears yellow garments, and Lord Balram is wearing blue garments. And we see here, you see here, this beautiful flute is also there in this, yeah, this is even more clear. The beautiful flute Krishna is holding. The calves, the gopis are thinking of Krishna, remembering Krishna as Krishna is going to the forest. So, how is he, what kind of garment is he wearing? Bimbrata Vasa Kanaka Kapisham. So golden, as brilliant as gold. And what is in his neck? Beautiful Vaijayanti Chamalam, mala penny. What kind of mala? Vaijayanti flowers. So Gale sohe Vaijayanti mala. Right? The beautiful bhajan. So many bhajan, this Vaijayanti mala comes. Krishna wears these mala or garland made up of Vaijayanti flowers. Randram Venu. The flute has holes, right? The holes in the flute are the one which are kind of help the sound to come. If the flute has no holes, then the sound won't come, right? So Randhra, that means the holes of what? Venu, the flute, the Venu Gita, the song. Venu means flute. Adhara, Adhara Sudhaya Apuryan. Sudhaya. So his lips, his Adhara, Sudhaya, they are filling the holes of the Venu. The nectar from his lips is filling up Apuryan. Puryan means to fill or to complete. They are filling the nectar. Krishna is touching the holes of that flute, of the Venu, the Randhara, Randhran Venu Adhara Sudaya Apuryam Gopa Vrinda. Gopa Vrinda. Vrinda means group. Gopa means the cowherd friends. The group of cowherd friends or the cowherd boys. Vrindaranyam. Aranya means forest. Vrindavan or Vrinda Aranya. Swapada. Swa means self, pada means mark. So you see the beautiful lotus feet of Krishna here. When Krishna would go, he would not wear shoes or sandals or footwear. His lotus feet, the marks on his lotus feet would mark all the lands of Vrindavan. Swapada Ramanam, and chanting, moving. Pravishat, he entered. Geet Kirti, while the gopis are singing, while the boys are, the cowherd boys, Gopa Vrinda, are singing the glories. So this is very, very beautiful. Is it not? You see the beautiful picture here with the beautiful explanation and meditation upon, again, just paraphrasing. We discuss about the peacock feather on his head. We discuss about the Karnikara flowers on his ear. We discuss about the flute. We discuss about the Vaijayanti Mala. We discuss about the brilliant the garments, the brilliant like gold or yellowish garment, brilliant like gold. We discuss about the lotus feet, these marks on the Swapada. The word used is Swapada. We discuss about the cowherd friends who are doing singing his glories. Geet Kirti. Kirti means to sing. Kirtan means to sing the glories of Krishna. Geet in the form of a song. They are singing. They are doing. They are reciting a song. They are happily going all to the forest. So this is the beautiful verse where we are discussing. This text number 5. So Canto 10, chapter 21, text 5. Important verse to remember. We'll read it a few more times. Varaha pidam natavara vapu karnayo karnikaram bibrat pasa kanaka kapisham vaijayanti chamalam randran venur adhara sudaya puryan gopa vrinde Vrindavanyam, Vrindaranyam Swapada, Ramanam Pravishad Gita Kirti. Would someone like to sing? You're inspired to sing this verse? And if you feel like, you can try to memorize it if you feel inspired. Anyone wants to try to sing this verse? It was not yet spoken today, especially. And in the mind, try to connect all the words. If you can connect the meanings of most of the words, then you'll at least be able to memorize in English what this verse is telling and paraphrase in your. And Shukdev Goswami made it really easy from head to toe. So like he's going from top to bottom, as you see. Did you observe that? From head, then the ears, then the garments, then the mala. Then he's holding the Venu, he's entering his nectar in the holes of the Venu, and then going down to the feet, to the lotus feet, who are entering Vrindavan, Pravishad. And what are the Gopas doing? The Gopas are singing Geeta Kirti, Gopa Vrinde, Vrindavanya, Swapade Ramanam. They're doing Ramana, they're Radha Ramana, they are enjoying, enchanting, relishing all this, and the boys are singing the song of Krishna's glories. So beautiful. Would one or two devotees want to read or recite this verse?
Can I try, Prabhu?
Yeah, please.
Barhapidam natavara bapu karnayo karnikaram vivrat vasaha kanaka kapisham vaijantim chamalam randran venur adhara sudhaya purayana gopa vrindir vrindaranayam swapada ramanam pravishyat gita kirtihi.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else also wants to try? Try to take pause here, right? So where to pause also is important here. Anyone wants to try?
I can read. Yeah, Mataji, please go ahead.
You can try, Prabhuji.
Yes, Swati Mataji, you want to please try?
Yes. Barhapidam natavara vapur karnayor karnikaram vibrat vasa kanakakabisham vaijayantim chamalam randram venur adaras sudaya purayan gopa vrindar vrindaranyam swapada ramanam pravishat gita kirtihi. Hare Krishna.
Very well. Thank you. Yes, Baldev Prabhu, you can also do that, and we'll pause for today.
Varahapidam natavara bapu karnayo karnikaram vibrad vasha kanako kapisham bhajantim cha malam randhan venur adhara shuddhaya purnaya gopa brindarnayam shapada ramanam pravishat gita kirti.
Well, thank you. So yeah, so please try to relish this verse. Please try to remember the words and the beautiful features, the beautiful garment, beautiful peacock feather. Everything is so enchanting here. So, and the gopis are remembering this, right? This is the meditation of the gopis. The cowherd girls in the previous verse began to speak about Krishna. So they more are trying to speak about Krishna, but they cannot speak. That's so. In short, in the very ripened state of their or like love for Krishna, the very peak of their emotion, they are speaking this. So we are also, Gopir Partur Padakamale or Das Dasanudas, trying to follow in the footsteps of the servant of the gopis. We can also try to remember this verse. So with that, anyone has any comments, thoughts, questions before we pause for today?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I just want to say I will absolutely be memorizing this because I want to sing this with my eyes closed. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Very sincere. Very sincere. Yeah, I'll share the recording also of Gauranga Darshan Prabhu, so you can try to refer that meter. He really explains it very well and makes it easy to remember also. So thank you again for your wonderful association. We'll pause here ग्रंथराज Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Krishna.